Cool, we're live. Hey everybody, it's Noah with the Zone Podcast. Back at it again. This is William. He's the owner of EcoCell and Madison Energy. Go ahead, just tell everybody about yourself and everything like that.
Yeah. So my name is Will Geist, CEO of Madison Energy. I've had over 13 years, which is a commercial energy technology business. We deal in efficiencies for refrigeration, HVAC, LEDs, combined heat and power, and we're starting to get into commercial solar as well. EcoStella is that same thing, but residential, and it focuses specifically on HVAC because that's where most of the energy in a home is consumed. We'll expand out of that in a little bit, but right now we're just taking a strict focus on the HVAC units. And we've got a portfolio of probably 8 different products that we can use together and at different times. We can be strategic about how we reduce that homeowner's energy consumption. And then Diversify is our next project that we're working on in the home services industry. It's sort of I don't want to say a revolutionary concept, but it's one that I don't see being employed out in the market. And if we are successful in bringing that, which I think we will be, obviously, or I wouldn't do it, it'll be a monster of a project. So it's exciting.
Cool. So tell us how you kind of got into that and kind of a little bit about your story.
Yeah. Well, so I grew up, I was going to be a lawyer all my life. That's what I planned on doing. And then I got halfway through college and had to change directions. And so all of a sudden that plan was kind of thrown out, and I didn't really know, what the next step was going to be. So finished college, got out, kind of fumbled around a little bit, did some restaurant management, and then kind of like the pursuit of happiness, right? I was like, you know what, I want to work on Wall Street with these stockbrokers. It looks cool. They're wearing suits every day. And so I literally just walked into a Morgan Stanley office and asked for the, whoever the guy was in charge, and was like, hey, I can do this, and here's why you should hire me. And so that started that career. So I did that for 3 years in like private wealth management and whatnot. And then 2008, 2009 happened, which just completely cleaned my clock. I mean, it wiped me out. I lost everything I had, and no job, nothing. So it was kind of a struggle, but and I really couldn't it was tough to get another job because what I was doing in wealth management really didn't exist anymore unless you really had a certain level of business already. So I started my entry into energy technology because I liked that I was still in a consultative role, helping businesses to be more profitable, and technology is always changing, and I just thought that was kind of cool. Like there's certain things I just couldn't do, right? Like I couldn't own a paint store, or like there's a lot of businesses where I'm just like, well, I don't know why you would want to do that, but energy just seemed cool to me. So got into that, designed and manufactured my first product. And then from there, I kind of, fell into my groove, which is, the more I got out there and the more I networked, I started finding these patent owners of different technologies that it was a great product, but they didn't know really how to bring it to market. And at that point, I developed some good commercial client relationships. And so it gave me the ability to say, hey, look, I can take this product, we can make it look nicer, I can develop the branding, I have the sales channel, I'll get it to the clients, and we'll make some money. And over time I developed the whole portfolio that Madison Energy has. And so today some of our clients are McDonald's, Taco Bell, Papa John's, Hilton, Marriott, Disney, and places like this, right? And it sounds great. My first 3 years, I just smashed my face into the wall every day. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no real good systems or processes. And what's funny is I look back, I still have some like my materials from back then. And I mean, they're so awful, right? At the time I was, I thought it was okay, but it's so bad. And so, you just go through that evolution and learn. And, I typically learn things the hard way. It's just one of my many talents. So, but here we are, right? Over 13 years later, our brand looks pretty cool, I think. And, we've got some great stuff and we've got the systems and processes that allow us to work with, that high level of client. So then 2020, COVID happened. None of my commercial clients are doing anything. I've got no money flowing, not making anything. All my sales guys, I mean, we didn't know what to do, right? So I figured, let's get into the residential market and just see what comes of it. And one of the things that allowed me to do that was I had a relationship with a multi-level marketing company. So I had this whole sales force of people that were also looking for some opportunity. So I took some of the technologies I had from Madison Energy and just kind of rebranded them and modified some of them to be able to sell them to the residential market. And it started as an affiliate model of like kind of direct sales to homeowners, which is interesting because that's kind of coming full circle. And I'll talk about that in a second. But then after a year of that, a friend of mine had suggested I partner with solar companies, right? Because it kind of goes hand in hand. And I didn't even really understand what the true value proposition was at the time. But I'm the type that it's like, if it seems like a good opportunity, I'll just jump in the water and like, we'll figure it out. Right. So, we did that. And in a couple of months, we realized, okay, we're increasing offsets and we're, getting rid of cancellations and we're making these sales more consultative. Reps are making more money by doing this. And there's this whole list of adders that solar companies have, but the reps don't make money on most of them. Whereas this is something where they can, right? And it strengthens their deal at the same time. So, we've been, EcoStella's been about 3 years now, and that's going strong and just, new relationships every day. And like I said, I've got Inversify kind of cooking on the back burner, and EcoStella will kind of morph into that, I think. But, EcoStella is obviously a main point of home services for us from efficiency. Then we'll get into HVAC, we'll get into roofing and whatnot. So it'll be a fun transition, I think.
I was curious to kind of go back to the networking with high network individuals and bringing that to market and that skill that you have. How does somebody cultivate that networking skill?
Just kind of being humble, right? And just, put yourself in the room with those people and listen a lot. And you just got to be quick on your feet, right? So you've got to read people. So, there's some of those guys I get in the room with and they're all business and nothing else matters. Others of them, they don't want to talk business at all until they kind of, they know you more. But I can tell you sort of the common theme is to, know what you're talking about, be concise and deliver, right? So, it's not a world where you can embellish or, don't say that you can do things you can't do, right? We see a lot of that in the solar industry. In that commercial space with those level of guys, you have to understand that, they're high paying jobs, they're high level jobs that took a long time to get to. And if you fall short, then you threaten their position essentially. Right. So, you have to keep that in mind. It's not all just, handshakes and drinks and high fiving at the bar, networking. You've got to understand, that role that you play. And once you understand that, a lot of them just appreciate a straightforward approach. Right. So, if I'm dealing with directors of facilities or VPs of energy, it's, hey, listen, how do I make you look good in your job? Right. That's what I'm here to do. Obviously, I'm here to sell you some stuff. That's how I make a living. But how can we go about this in a way that I'm supporting you and elevating you in your position? And if you take that stance and you mean it and you can deliver, then you'll get results.
Yeah, even with that, like a book that I'm reading right now is Little Black Book of Networking. And it's always talking about bringing that value first. Do you have any like creative ways that you brought value to these high ticket clients?
Yeah, you've got to have the ability, the desire, and quite frankly, some financial capability to give first. So in other words, if I'm talking to a commercial client, it may be a 7-figure project that is the finish line, but up front, I can say some of these guys, it'd be too much of a pain in the neck for them to, put money into the budget or pay attention to a project, or, they're all busy, right? So what I say is that, look, give me a couple of stores. I'll go and I'll do everything. I'll pay for it all. I'm going to prove myself to you up front. You're going to get to see me work. You're going to see the technologies do what they do. And they appreciate that, right? So that's just bringing some value to the table. I also try to get to know, maybe some of what's going on in their role in their businesses, right? If, are sales struggling, are certain costs up or down, and see where I might be able to provide resources that don't necessarily benefit me. And that's really, that's the ideal thing. If you can give in such a way that there's really nothing coming back to you, and you're just doing it to sincerely help, then that resonates with people, right? Especially when they know that you're actually in a sales capacity. I mean, they're not stupid. So,
they got there for a reason.
yeah.
Yeah. So kind of to shift gears a little bit, how do you build a super solid team behind yourself in your businesses?
I will be humble enough to tell you that I don't have the answer to that question, right? I mean,
okay.
As of right now, I'll tell you I suck at it. I mean, one of the things is I just tend to take people at their word, and I tend to trust people. For me, it just takes too much energy not to, right? It's just kind of strange because I'm still kind of like a paranoid person. But then in my actual interactions with people, people come to me, they tell me they can do something. I'm like, cool, why would you lie? Let's go. And, I had to learn a hard lesson recently. It's actually a double whammy where two people from my team actually ended up betraying me and stealing from me. And it was tough, man. It really kind of hurt me, right? I mean, I spent a whole week just kind of like moping around a little bit. And because it's just, it's a tough thing. I don't care who you are when that happens to you. And I try to, if I could give any advice, that I would say, look for character first, because you can always train skills. But I obviously haven't done that very well either. So I'm working on that, right? I mean, there are a lot of good people around me. I've just got to figure out how to get the good people to join me, because a lot of the good people I have are doing their own things, right? They're independent, they're business owners. And so it's, how do you find, people with those skills and and that character that are okay being a part of your vision, right? Versus chasing their own. So I'm still learning in that regard.
Yeah, it seems like it is a very hard thing to do. I mean, even with me, I got appointment setters under me and everything like that. And I remember I was doing it all by myself for the business to get started. That's probably the easiest, but at the same time, the hardest. Like when you were out there networking and everything like that, that was probably one of your easiest times where you could be like, okay, cool, I can just go ahead and go do this myself.
Right.
But when it comes to like bringing somebody else into that vision, it's like they're not performing the same way I'm doing. They're probably doing it half or a fourth of what I'm doing. But it's like, all right, how do I bring this? How do I inspire them more to bring it, like, fit into that vision and really push it hard as much as I'm pushing? And I think that's a lesson that a lot of people get shot in the foot, because they're like, well, I got appointment setters now. I got people under me. I don't got to do that anymore.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing, man, because you're right. That is the question, is how do you inspire and motivate people? I don't think that you can get them to the same level that you're at, because it's not theirs, right? At the end of the day, these companies are mine. They're named after my daughters. My heart and soul is in them, blood, sweat, and tears. I've been through the trials and tribulations. I mean, I've been damn near homeless at one point. So, I've gone through all of that to get where I am now. For someone else to catch up to all of that is damn near impossible, in my opinion, right? So, I mean, I've used everything from, equity in the company to, bonuses and all kinds of things. And like I said, I haven't figured it out. I don't know what the answer is. So, it's not an easy thing. And I'm hoping that I get it right here soon, because I've got a lot going on, and it's, I need a good team around me to take, these different visions to the next level.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing with that, like offsetting and becoming more efficient, what are some of like the automations or like AI that you employ in your business to help you become a little bit more efficient?
Yeah. Another area that I have some weakness, right? So, I'm actually leaning on a guy that I know right now to kind of help me with that. So that was the last thing I just dealt with, was a guy that I hired for operations that in 5 months, I don't know really what we accomplished, but I'm looking for that type of thing. So, the CRMs, right? Super important to interact with. Right now, I'll give you an example. I'm working with my install partners on developing sort of a central system where all of the logistics and the scheduling for the installs can happen so that it's seamless and all the communication happens. And, anywhere you have to look for anywhere that you can get rid of a manual task. Right. And so, I'm a little bit older, so I'm used to Microsoft Excel and, right. My task list is on a notepad and stupid stuff like that. So I'm still, kind of getting into the technology, and it's hard too, because I'm so busy and I'm going so hard today. It's like, all right, now I got to learn something else. Right. So, but you've got to take the time to do it. And,
when you were talking about the notepad, I was like, the whiteboard will never die.
Yeah.
Nobody, the whiteboard's never died.
Yeah. I literally have a whiteboard over there right now with all just different stuff scribbled on it. So it just helps to have that visual, you know what I mean? And even though you can have the CRM up, and I've started to use this thing called Monday.com, which is good for like organizing tasks and communicating and whatnot. Again, it's just like, well, I've got so much to do. I almost don't have the time to go type that all in there and whatever else. That's how I feel. But in reality, I think that's the wrong, it's the wrong thinking. You take a few minutes to actually put that stuff down. And, those systems are what will carry you. So, you feel like it slows you down. At least I feel like it slows me down. But the reality is, in the long run, it makes you much more efficient. So, at this stage of my career is when I'm really starting to invest into those kinds of platforms, to have them so that it's all just done.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even when it comes down to like EcoStella actually working in a customer's house, and then down to the rep level, you are making it more efficient for them. And like you said something interesting before, where it was like actually giving them in that more consultative role for a sales rep. Could you kind of elaborate more on that? Because I know a lot of people in the solar industry, they just try to sell solar when they should really be an energy efficiency person.
Yeah, I mean, look, a few years ago, you could do that, right? With no dealer fees and low interest rates, you could show up, sell panels, cut people's bills down, or get rid of them completely, and it was a great situation from a number standpoint. Things are more difficult now because of dealer fees and interest rates, and just the whole economic environment and inflation and everything that's going on in people's lives. And so, the solar industry is going through a little bit of a struggle right now because it's going to have to transition to a more consultative model. I don't think if you're going to not only survive but succeed, you're not going to be able to do that as a pure solar rep. You're going to have to diversify into more of an energy consultant, and you're going to have more arrows in your quiver, more ways to help people. And to me, that's cool, right? That's the part I enjoy, is sitting down and saying, okay, how do I structure this in a way that's advantageous for you? Obviously, I'm still going to win. It's good for everybody. And it's not just solar, right? We should be including efficiency no matter what. Make the house more efficient. And then the equipment's going to last longer. Everything's going to perform better. And just, what else can we pull into this type of thing? And that's one of the things that I think the industry has sort of fallen short on. And I don't know who to blame. I say the industry, but if you're a solar rep and you go into a house and you add efficiency, you should be making money. The sales org should be making money, right? Even the EPCs. Same thing, if you do an HVAC replacement, it's crazy to me that you as a solar rep could spend however much time helping a homeowner get a new HVAC system or a new roof, and you're really not making any money on that. Or if you are, it's not very much. So, that's where I'm kind of designing things a little differently, where it's, everybody, can have their hand in that cookie jar, and if you do it correctly, you'll make more over the long term. And that's the other thing that people have to do, is take a longer term vision to this.
Right. And I mean, even when it comes to selling, like the person who wins the sale, is the one who cares more about the other person that they're sitting across from. So like I feel like even with solar reps, they should be energy efficiency reps. And if they can't get solar, okay, fine, we're not going to do that. But we can at least have this other option for you moving forward and take advantage of any rebates, stuff like that. Moving forward and becoming more of that energy efficiency rep, even changing their in Texas. I mean, we're a decentralized grid. So like they really can just like sit there and be like, okay, well, you can switch over to this energy provider because they have cheaper rates. At least I help them in some way. Right.
There's no reason that you should walk out of any house empty handed. You can make money in any situation, in any market. I don't care what it is. And that's the thing that really got to me was, seeing some of these solar reps, and it's like, you just spent 3 hours with this homeowner. They want the solar, but they failed to credit, and you're walking out with nothing. That's crazy to me. You could pivot to energy efficiency. I actually have like special financing options for these guys. Goes down as low as a 550 credit score, where the home improvement side is a little bit easier to qualify for. So if you can't do the solar, then switch right over here and say, look, don't worry about it. I mean, the homeowner's a little bit embarrassed, right? But they wanted to buy it. So let's forget about that. Let's switch over here. Let's do this. And this we can make work. And you can still make a couple $1,000.
Wait, what was that? Wait. Repeat that a little bit. So that was a different program that you're working with where they can qualify for something else?
Yeah. So if I'm a solar rep, right, and you and I just spent some time and you wanted to buy the solar, but you don't qualify with credit score, DTI, whatever it is, I can say, all right, forget it. Let's just do this efficiency package, right? 7, 8 items in here. I, as the rep, am still going to make over $1,000, maybe more. It kind of depends on how it's set up. You're still going to help that homeowner. So I still just made some money. And now guess what? I'm coming back in 6 months and I'm going to sell you solar then, right? I'm going to keep in contact with you, drip on you. That's the other thing is these guys, if they don't sell you today or this week, they just forget about that homeowner. That's nuts. Keep those people. This is part of networking. Anybody you meet should go into a big pile of these are all my potential solar people, right? Because who knows? 5 years, you might do something else. And here now you have this huge database of people that you can reach out to. It's a gold mine. I mean, there's companies that make billions of dollars on data like this. Everybody that's out here doing door-to-door or selling to this market can capitalize the same way at a smaller level.
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. Even saying with keeping your actual like information, because a lot of companies they'll have your door-to-door rep who has this whole sales rapid or whatever. It's with the company, and that gets erased, and they're just like, I've seen so many people get so angry because they have 303,000 people in there of pins that they have in their address, and they have their information. They got email, phone number, address, what they like, what their dog's name is, and that's just gone.
Wow. Why does it go away like that?
Because companies will switch it over. They'll switch over from like a different. They'll switch over softwares, and then they won't like take a CSV file because they don't care. They're just going to take, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So look, here's what I have to say to that. If you're a rep, you should see yourself as your own business, no matter what. Even if you're selling for a sales org or whatever it is, you are your own business. You should have your own CRM. There's cheap ones out there. I don't care if it's an Excel sheet. You go home every night and you put everything in. You should own that information. Don't depend on anything. Sales orders go out of business. People get hacked, whatever it is. You should have that all by yourself. And that's the other reason why I look at these guys and I say, look, see yourself as your own business, even if you can offer other things, right? You can show up to a homeowner and have, hey, I do solar with this company. I do efficiency with this company. I do, whatever, right? So I've got different things. I'll sell you a sandwich if you want, like whatever. You should have multiple, they say the average millionaire has 7 streams of revenue. So you as an individual rep can replicate that by yourself. And it's crazy if you're not. You need to. It's absolutely necessary. Look, Madison Energy, successful company, right? 8-figure company. COVID happened. It was 0. Revenue dropped off the cliff. I'm calling clients that I know, like, hey, man, let's get a project done. Sorry, Will, I can't think about anything other than putting up plexiglass and getting people to work or whatever. Zero. So I literally created a whole different business as a diversification, and I'm going to keep going. So I thought I was diversified in Madison Energy, having different things that I could do in the commercial space, and then literally an entire market dropped out from under me. So it's like, all right, well, let's go to another market, residential. Well, now we're going to diversify in residential, and now it's absolutely necessary for these guys to do it. And even if you're young, even if you haven't been in solar that long, just start putting things on the fire. Get them cooking. They'll develop over time. You'll learn over time. It's okay.
Yeah, for sure. Last thing to kind of switch gears a little bit is what's your most memorable customer interaction that you've had throughout your career?
Most memorable, positive or negative?
Let's go with negative. Let's go.
All right, good. Yeah, we'll make it fun. Most negative interaction. So I had one of my guys who he went to this country club. He got the documents signed. It was this whole utility program we were going to do, and he's literally out the front door, and one of the guys who's a CFO comes running out the door, snatches the papers out of his hand, right, just being a total asshole. And the guy didn't know, he didn't realize that I was with the sales guy. So as he's doing what he's doing, and just right, I kind of walked up and I snatched the papers back from him, and he looked at me like all crazy, and I was like, "That wasn't nice, was it?" And then I just handed it back to him, and we left because I'm like, "Hey, we're not selling to these people." And so, that's one of the things as a business owner is you can choose who you work with. And, I would tell you that things never get any better than the beginning. So if there's a client or homeowner that's like super difficult in the beginning, just cut the cord and run and go find there's somebody else out there that wants what you have, that's going to be interested, that's going to be nice, good to work with. So somebody like that, I'm like, oh yeah, we're just pulling a plug on you. I'll be a little bit of an asshole back. I don't know. It's probably not the best thing in the world, but
even on that same thing where you're talking about with the beginning and what they're going to be like in the beginning, nothing's going to get better after the beginning. What do you think about giving discounts?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't do it. Well, very rarely do I do it, right? Because I go in with a certain value proposition in mind. Mm-hmm. So say on the commercial side, your ROI is going to be 18 months or better. Or on the EcoStella side, it's more of a multifaceted thing, right? If I'm talking to a solar or, so I'm increasing, offsets and I'm limiting cancellations and you're going to make more money and da-da-da-da. So why would I discount that to you? If you don't see that value, then either I'm not communicating it correctly or there's something else going on. But the number is never the problem, right? One of my favorite quotes is that price is only relevant in the absence of value. So, it could be a vaccine. Well, if it cures toe fungus, maybe it's only worth $20. But if it cures cancer, it's worth $200 million, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That was random. The toe fungus.
Look, that's literally how I price things on the commercial side. And what I had another interaction one time where this guy was like, well, what does this device possibly cost you to make? $20, $30. And I said, right, but that doesn't matter, right? I'm saving you $1,000 a year. So that's the value that we're talking about right now. What it costs me to make, it's irrelevant. If that cost me $1,000, I'd have to charge you more. So, it's that kind of thing. Same thing. If you're in the homes, back on the residential side, if people aren't buying or you're hitting a wall, you haven't created enough value. And that's why you need to bring other things into the mix. Like, okay, all right, well, solar, yeah, you understand that. It's not quite enough for you. Let's make this house run better, right? You're going to live here for a little while. Of course you are, because inflation is up and interest rates are up. You're not going to sell this house, right? The real estate market's not great. So let's invest in this and make this operate better for you while you're here, right?
For sure.
So the more you can do, the better.
Exactly. And even the more avenues that you can actually move in. you can actually earn that customer's trust because you're actually there on multiple different facets. And I liked what you said in the beginning, because it was like, even if you don't have solar, it's too much. All right, cool, whatever. Let's go ahead and move here. Let's go
Yeah.
ahead and get in this spot, and then we'll go from
You
there.
you got to be able to pivot, right? So, if something's not working, get it off the table as quickly as possible, because all that's going to do is be a negative in the conversation. So, if I'm sitting with a homeowner and whatever the negative is, or I don't like that type of thing. Let's say they don't like one of my technologies, right? Let's say hey, look at this UVC LED, and they're like, oh, that's stupid, and cool, over my shoulder. Next, right? I'm not going to sit here and fight you on why you should believe in any one thing. If you're that much against it, forget it. Next one, right? And I'm going to keep going until I find something that does resonate with you.
Yeah, because people just want their problems fixed. They want their problem solved. And if there's no problem to solve, that's what the main problem is with solar. When guys come to the door, is they're trying to solve a problem that isn't, like, they don't realize they have a problem yet. So you really have to sit there and be like, okay, your bill is this way. This is because of your HVAC system. We can get this for you if you go solar.
Right.
So
right. Yeah, we can wrap it all in. And by the way, what else do you need done around here? A new water heater, a new HVAC unit? I mean, right? So it's just like, I'm here to do as much as I can for you right here, right now. But I would couple that with, know what you're talking about. Take the time to learn your craft, because I see too many people get out here and they're just shooting from the hip and saying stupid shit, or they don't really know stuff. And it's like, it's okay to not know the answer or to get some stuff wrong, but I mean, learn along the way. One of the reasons I'm able to work with some of the commercial clients that I have is because I either know what I'm talking about, or I've got somebody within arm's reach who does. Right. So, I mean, if you're going to be effective, and the more knowledgeable you are, the more money you're going to make. I mean, that's been proven a million times. So either have the answers or have somebody who does, within arm's reach of you that you can get to. And then, you'll be good. And don't be afraid to pull other people in either. I pull other guys in. I'll be like, hey, time out, right? If I got some guys that are like engineers that are talking over my head, I'll call a timeout, and I'll make a phone call, and I'll bring somebody else into the room that's smarter than I am and say, hey, Bob's got a question. I need you to address it. And that actually makes you look good to show that you've got those resources.
Yeah, and that you're not going to just be a yes man and just go with whatever.
Yeah. So sitting with a homeowner, there's a question you don't know, have somebody you can call. Like, a tax question, I got a guy, or, whatever it is, an electrical thing, I got a guy for that. Hold on, let me call him.
Yeah. Well, other than that, we're getting close on time. So I'll go ahead and do you have any other things you want to say to the audience? You want to say to the world?
World. Yeah. No. I think we've covered a lot, right? And I would say the learning process never stops. And, I'm still learning. I'm still constantly trying to surround myself with the right people. And, in that regard, you can't hold on to things, right? I've held on to things and to people or ideas that weren't really serving me. I was ignoring red flags because I was like, I just want this to work. And, you can't do it. You know what I mean? If the first time people show you who they are, believe them. Or if something's just not working, there's adapting is not the same as quitting, right? If something's not working, maybe it's just not working. There's a reason for it. Switching tracks is it's not quitting, just, adapt the situation. So being adaptable is one of the most necessary skill sets that you can have, especially now in markets like this. Markets like this are when the rich people get richer. So for the people that are struggling, it's because you're not adapting.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Awesome. Well, I'll have all the information in the description below so you guys can check them out. I'll also have you tagged the first comment to click on his Facebook profile and give him a follow. But other than that, I'll catch you guys later. I appreciate you for coming on, Will.
Yeah, thanks, Noah.
Cool.